Hello, welcome to Table Talk,
I'm Carrie with KHEM Studios.
and I am Eric. So, what is on the table?
So, this is our first of this. That was really good.
I'm trying.
Um, so, we're here and we're going to be talking about kind of the whys behind some of the stuff that we do. The first question is, why do we choose to design the tables in two different direction. So we've got the flat pack model,
Mhm.
we've got the fixed model where the tabletop is fixed to the legs, and then we have the extension table.
Mhm.
So, what would you say is sort of the number one reason why those are the critical different directions for the dining table collection?
Well, it depends on where the person is putting the table, to
Mm-hmm.
tell you the truth. We have most people come to us with certain needs, and those needs kind of break down into two things. If they're moving, or if they live in the city or the country. Or where the table is going to go. So we work with the person to figure out what their wants are. But there's also things that they don't think about completely, which is logistics. Design is really important for us, but logistics are also there. And in the city,
You
and
get to
actually,
move all the time.
we have to move all the time. So actually, not just in the city or the country, but every house has like nooks and crannies that you don't really think about because you live with it all the time. So or getting us to fabricate a table for you, you kind of really have to think through the process and where it's going. So in the city, there's all these logistics like elevators and doormen, or each building has its own kind of rules and regulations of what you can and cannot do. And then also for the country, it all sounds great, but we live in the Hudson Valley, which is kind of like hilly or mountainous. So things seem simple, but then when you install it, there's always something. So, so for the extension tables, that seems to be for now mostly the city, especially if they're moving from city to city, they want to get it one place and then it needs to go to another place. It's nice because it all breaks down, the legs come off, the extensions come off, and then it's really easy to transport. For the larger table, the fixed, sometimes it's just a nice, if you know that the table is going to be central, it's just nice that you just make a really, large, firm table that will be, where everything kind of circles around. And then you don't have to worry about extensions. Where did you put them, and so forth. So if you have the space, sometimes it's better for a fixed table. But if you want versatility, of course, then the extensions.
So,
Mhm.
I think also for the extension, the fact that sometimes life is chaotic, and so the I think the one of the reasons why the extension table is very popular right now is because you have changing needs in a home. It doesn't matter where that is, and so the ability to make something small or make something big, it's like I think that we all want to have huge dinner parties and have the amazing dining table that can seat everybody, and then we also have the moments where it's we need more space in the room and we need the ability to like be able to have more flexibility. And I think that that design principle, just like the nesting table, is such a great thing in the world of furniture design, that I think that's one of the reasons too.
Yeah,
The extension table
yeah.
fills a need. And yeah.
I mean, just like everything, there's not a set answer. All of our designs kind of deal with design needs, or our designs, what we would like it to look like. But then also the customer has these variables that they want it to be, they need them to be there. So it's just a marriage, and we work with the person to kind of get through those things. Um, and then we deliver it, and everyone seems happy. So that's
Yeah,
what
I
we
mean,
love.
the other, I think that the Tiro design is also one of the reasons why that we came to release that this past year, is that our clients are from coast to coast, and so when you're shipping a larger piece of furniture, like, the world is the way it is, and so the logistics of just the shipping, it's more cost effective that something can be broken down to ship in terms of lessening that cost than
Hmm.
if you're to ship a table. I don't know if people always realize you have to build a whole crate around that piece of furniture, especially when you're spending a certain amount for a certain quality of a furniture piece. It's not fast furniture.
Right.
It's furniture that will be there for almost a full lifetime. So, the
Yeah, and there's also
logistics.
um, the comparison between big box store or larger companies that make tons of this. One, the dimensions are set, so you kind of always are trying to make it work, and sometimes it works. Sometimes you can find something online that is perfect. But the one thing that's nice about getting a table just made for you, one, it's a story, and two, it's that's what you want. So if you are moving in and it's maybe you just had kid or something else is a change of lifestyle, you're building something that you want in a space, and then this is part of that process. Also, the same thing with antiques. They're really nice, and you can actually probably find exactly what you want sometimes, but sometimes it's just nice to kind of like get the measurements right, work through an idea with somebody, um, and have kind of a nicer, not a nicer, but just a different design quality than what's on the market when it comes to the box
Yeah, I think that
stores.
the
Yeah.
customization thing,
Mm.
actually, I think that that is, if like we're a small company,
Mm.
right? We do small batch manufacturing, and we certainly design things based on what a customer's coming to us saying, I like your design aesthetics. Can you solve this solution for me? And that is something that it's very hard to walk into something that's like a big box store and actually talk with somebody that really understands the construction and the design and the production of something. And I think that that's also one of the things that makes working with a studio like ours, um, almost in a weird way, more cost efficient than trying to, as Eric's saying, work back from something that's already on the market. And this sort of leads us into, let's talk about materials,
Mhm.
because I think that anybody who's sort of seen our work knows we work with really nice hardwoods, and hardwoods are great long lasting woods. What are the materials um, that you feel people sort of perceive as great solutions in the design process, but then aren't, like customer source wood? I'll put
Well,
that in
oh,
there.
okay. Yeah, I mean, so a lot of people down trees, and they're beautiful trees like walnut, white oak, and so forth. But the one thing that's not understood or just isn't thought through completely is a tree is a tree. A finished piece of dried wood is completely different. There is a lot of steps that take. So we usually don't do projects based on down trees and so forth unless it's some kind of phenomenal, beautiful piece that is extremely a true signature of a piece, and that the design is going to carry that quality of that tree through to the end. Um, Most of the time, people want to use it, but by the time it gets to a finished project, you might not even know that there's any difference between this one piece of wood and something that is a high quality kiln dried piece of wood. So that's just like kind of one thing
Yeah,
that
it's
we
not cost efficient.
it's not even just it's not cost efficient, but it also doesn't accomplish what the need is. It's killing the story before it can happen. On that behalf, we do look at it. We're interested, but there are limitations to what we can do. And also, we're just a small entity comparative to a larger box store entity. So,
Yeah, and I always, because a lot of times at in-person markets, I get people that are like, "Oh, I have, this tree that fell on the property." Well, the thing is that, we're when you're putting the time in to design and to produce a piece of furniture, the material you want to be as stable and of high quality as possible. So just because a tree is growing in a forest doesn't mean it's the best material to make a piece of furniture out of. That you're making the investment, and we're making the investment too, in terms of taking it and processing it, which, to process a lumber to the point where it's ready to be produced by furniture, and all of that is pretty intensive.
well, I mean, it in itself is an art form, um, and we would rather, just because there's so many hours in the day, focus on the design and the build versus the material prep. There are people that can do that, the full gamut. We decide to kind of be from like, you know, 1/3 is material prep, and then the 2/3 are basically design and build.
Getting you something
Yeah,
amazing.
you know, so so you know, we just kind of you know, that's just kind of how we work. You know,
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, I think that that's, and the other thing, you know, when we do source our wood, um, we've gotten to the point, we're 8 years into this now, and there's been a journey of the material, and
Mm,
getting our wood is supplied by one of the top suppliers in the United States, and for furniture. Not, it's not construction, you know, for building a home. It's specialty hardwood. So that's been a journey in and
mm,
of itself that maybe we'll get into at another time.
mhm.
So
Um, yes. Uh, I'll, yep, that's,
yeah, I think that
I think
we hope
that's,
you found this helpful
yeah,
and kind of insightful.
on how we kind of go through the process from beginning to end. So thanks for joining us.